2.5 RS, four-door sedan with a manual transmission. It was crashed pretty badly in the front, as you can see right there. I bought it about a week ago, guys. I've been stripping it out and selling it, or selling the parts. And man, these parts are going fast. I can't believe it. I was gonna make a video on it and post it up for you guys, but I put a video up on Facebook Marketplace on the 2.5 RS group, and the parts been selling like crazy. So I'm thinking from now on, I gotta post a video on my YouTube channel first and give you guys the first dibs at these parts, because these parts have been going like hotcakes. I can't believe how fast this stuff's going. So check this out, guys. Let me get over here on the front so you can see how this thing is smashed. I also have a video coming out tomorrow where I gotta go show you guys the whole story on this thing. Trailer, where it started when I first started stripping it, where it is now basically, and some detailed stuff on the parts I got off of, some rare parts on it, like the leather wrapped steering wheel that has a red stitching. I got a red stitching leather wrapped little shift knob that the guy who sold me this thing was kind enough to toss in with the deal. He was a really cool guy. Shout out to my buddy down there in San Jose. And this thing was totaled, and I go into a lot of detail on exactly where the frame is bent, and if we're to cut the frame off this car, and how you would reuse this car, what you would do, and where exactly you do it, because this car is definitely not a lost cause. And I also go into some details in that in the video, because there's some people trying to cut the rear quarters off this car, and I'll show you the rear quarters. They're really clean on this car. For those of you guys who are familiar with this, salvaging these cars and stripping these cars and cutting these rear quarters out, basically comment below. I'm curious how much you guys think these rear quarters are worth, but regardless, that's just for my own knowledge. I'm not really comfortable cutting these suckers out. The more I think about it, the more I feel like that's just like, I don't know, blasphemy, man. But what people want to do is they want to show up here and they want to take a hacksaw and they want to cut somewhere about here and then cut down along here, pop this window out, and then cut down along here, all the way over here, cut along the rear lights right here, and then cut all the way down along the bottom here, and then actually cut down here too. You got to cut down here as well. So kind of cut somewhere down here along this lower sill plate area, and cut out this entire rear kind of quarter panel section with all these like curved bends in this, like, you know, this cast metal or this clamped out metal panel section, because those are a little bit harder to repair on a crashed car or damaged car. And from what I hear, I think they're still available for the sedan in the dealer network, but they're expensive. There might be a waiting list. There might be really expensive shipping. They may not be available locally to where you live. So these are really popular, these rear quarter panels right here. Okay, what else we got in this car? As you see, I've kind of stripped the back of it. It actually had JDM taillights, guys. And I talked about that in the video a little bit. Actually, I got the JDM tails over here, right here. So these JDM taillights, man, these things were popular. And I can't believe how many people were emailing me about these JDM taillights. I put a video up on a couple Facebook groups, and I had these taillights in the video, and I had it on my Facebook Marketplace ad. Incidentally, guys. Okay, sorry if the video is a little bit soft. I'm gonna talk a little bit louder. My Facebook account was hacked the other night, guys. This is a side note. And for any of you guys who've been talking to me on Facebook, or friends of me on Facebook, or have been talking on the Facebook Marketplace about the parts for this car, get a hold of me. I had to create a new account. It's under my same name, same picture, but doesn't have any history. And basically I posted a little message about being hacked on my new account. So reach out to me, guys. I apologize if I'm not able to get a hold of you. For any of you guys who already bought parts, I've got them all shipped already. There's actually 2 more orders I'm gonna ship out today. I'm gonna let you guys know through Venmo or PayPal. I can actually respond to your messages there and let you know that my Facebook account got hacked and that the parts are shipped, and I'll give you the tracking number on that messaging app, the Venmo or the PayPal messaging app. Okay, that was a side note about getting hacked, which is fucked. Honestly, the hack job really screwed things up for me, because my Facebook account had all my personal stuff from, you know, 10 to 15 years, honestly, 15 years plus, including all my stuff from my wedding and stuff from my dogs and all my anniversaries and all that stuff. So I'm probably gonna have to separate everything and have my personal account and my business account separate, so I don't have this happen again. Anyways, that's a side note. JDM tail lights, let's talk about these JDM tails. Man, these things are popular. I got dozens and dozens and dozens of emails on these JDM tail lights, and I can't believe how many emails I got about them, because I posted them for $280. And I posted them with a little apprehension. I wasn't sure if I really want to sell them. I actually need a set for this car right here. What you're looking at right here is a 2-door coupe that I'm getting painted in the next few days. It's actually being dropped off in the next few days. For those of you guys who are not familiar with this car, it's a 2-door coupe. And I'm swapping a bunch of interior parts in this car, and that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that later. So I've been thinking about keeping these for this car, but I put them up just to see how much interest there was, and I might just sell them because I last recall I could buy these JDM tail lights for $280 from the dealership. So I posted them up for $280, and sure enough, I got like dozens and dozens and dozens of people emailing me. I even got one of you guys emailing me saying, hey man, you posted this up for $280, and didn't you say in one of your previous videos you could buy these suckers for $280 new from the dealership? So what's up with posting them up for $280 used when you can buy them new for $280? And on top of that, but regardless, that's still the thing that like most people were emailing me about, is they wanted to buy these for $280, the same price you could buy them new. So I don't know if they're still available in the dealerships or they're no longer available. I haven't actually checked for 3 or 4 months. If these JDM rear tail lights are no longer available in the dealership, guys, I could definitely see the prices skyrocketing on these things, because I'm telling you, people love these things, and they're really just like stick out, and they really kind of give a real distinguishing look to the back of your GC. So I don't know, man. As soon as these things go out of stock in the dealerships, they're going to skyrocket in price. I'm calling it right now. Right now, they're selling for about $300. I'm telling you, they're going to double in price the minute these lights are no longer available in the dealership networks. I don't know, but maybe they're not even available now. I don't know. We'll see. So that's the JDM tails. A little bit tangent on that. Back to the car. Okay. Had a guy come the other day and grab this little gas cap and the doors. Doors I was selling for $250 each, guys. I don't know if you think that's a good deal or a bad deal. It's only been 3 or 4 days, and this thing is like selling like crazy. So I think the doors selling for $250 was a steal for them. It was both to 2 different parties. The guys actually had the same color car, and their doors were super fucked up. So picking these doors up for $250 and just swapping them out was a super good deal for them. What else are we looking at here? I don't want to get into too much detail, because this is a video that I'm posting tomorrow. It's the whole story of picking up the car and where it started when it had all the doors and everything on it, and getting into detail about how it's crashed. But I'm gonna give you a little preview so you can at least see how crashed it is. It's really interesting, I think. Basically, you can see here how the whole front of the car, this side was bent that way as well, but they're not bent that far. I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but you could definitely cut the frame off this car and reuse it for another application. Either put a stock frame back in, or put a 2-frame chassis in this thing for a motorsport application, or maybe put a 2JZ or an LS motor in one of these. This is probably a good candidate. Put this 5-speed transmission in, or a BRZ 6-speed that I have. But there's some complications with that, as I'm sure you guys expect. And I want to do the 6-speed. I'm going to do the 6-speed, but I'm thinking that it might not be a good idea to do a 6-speed on that 2-door coupe, because that 2-door coupe has such a high resale value. And I'm probably not going to keep that 2-door coupe, because I have another 2-door coupe. I have my 98 RS that I'm keeping. So I'm thinking that that 97 2-door coupe that I'm painting green, it would probably be better for the resale and for the next buyer if I put this 2001 2.5 RS manual transmission in that green coupe. That keeps that coupe a little bit more preserved as far as an original car. Some of the other pieces I'll be taking off on this car, as you can kind of see there. I won't get into the details there. Looking at some red struts right there. What that is KYB AGXs. Won't get into details there either, but these also have progressive rate H&R coils, which is kind of really interesting. I looked up the spring rates on these H&R coils the other night, because I'm thinking of pairing them with a set of struts that I got for my blue car. And these H&R coils are very, very similar in respect to the spring rates for the front set and the rear set to the version 4 and the version 5 STIs. They're basically, I can't remember which is which. I think the front spring rates are identical to the version 4 STI, and the rear spring rates are identical to the version 5 STI, and they're not very far off. They're like virtually identical spring rates. Very cool. And those AGXs are actually adjustable. The way you adjust these on the front is up here on the top. Kind of cool. There's like a little 4 or 5-way adjustment right here. You can adjust it. And on the back, this car also has AGXs. I'll show you that here. There's a little dial on the back of these AGXs. You gotta kind of get underneath the car to make the adjustment. See if I can do this kind of smoothly here with the camera. Yeah, right there. So that right there is a dial. I'll move the camera a little further. In the rear of these AGXs. And this is an 8-way adjustable little dial right here. So you can stiffen and adjust the amount of these shocks, these struts. Pretty cool, very cool. So, and that's actually right here you're looking at, that's actually a fuel vapor canister recovery little canister. It's got like charcoal canister in it, so you can pass fuel vapors through it and then emit it into the emissions, into the atmosphere, I believe. Of course, rear brakes. Basically, these rear brakes are gonna go on that 2-door coupe as well. That 2-door coupe has rear drums. When you swap out the rear brakes to drums, I'll just talk about this right now. It's kind of an interesting thing. This is the thing that's kind of the challenging piece. This is a cable for your e-brake. And when you swap out rear drums to rear discs, it's a lot, you basically need to have the rear cable that goes with the backing plate for the disc. And swap out the whole thing at once is a lot easier. The cable, the backing plate, where the cable goes through it, and the mechanism that basically applies the e-brake, and then put on the rotor and the caliper. That's the way you do those rear disc brake conversions. And of course, this side's got the good quarter panel as well. So good quarter panels on both sides of this car. But like I said, man, I can't really stomach the idea of letting somebody come over here with a hacksaw and just start hacking the shit out of this thing just for, you know, $500 or $1,000 or something. I don't know. So not feeling too good about that. What else we here? Basically, wiring harness. I'm going to pull the whole wiring harness out. The wiring harness is pretty good. It's a little bit mangled in the front for some of the fog lights, but the wiring harness going into the engine bay and then through the cabin into the interior cabin is good. As you can see, I've already pulled off everything here, basically the whole dash and everything. I have the dash available though, guys. If you're interested in it, let me know. If you guys are interested in any of these parts, either comment below or send me an email at SubaruONLYshop@gmail.com and we can work something out. I basically have a post up on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll be posting some of these parts on Craigslist and on eBay. I'm actually opening up an eBay store soon, so definitely reach out to me if you're looking to get any of these parts. Looking here, you know, basically there's another thing that everybody's really interested in. It was the, what is it? The harness, the bulkhead harness. And I think that's probably because of the swaps people are doing. So the bulkhead harness is what comes in through here and connects all the gauges and all the switches and everything to the main ECU that's down there. I also have that main ECU too for the manual transmission, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'll do a quick little run through of the parts here. See, we got a FedEx ship in here. Shout out to FedEx. Do a lot of business with those motherfuckers. I need to get a deal with them. So here's the black 2.5 RS dash, obviously with the airbag. I'll pull that out and you get a new airbag and swap that in. But this dash is in really good condition. This car only had about 121,000 miles on it, so pretty damn low. And then moving in here to the garage, I'll kind of pan out so you guys can see just what the hell I'm dealing with here right now. I got a lot of parts that I'm dealing with. It's kind of taking up my whole garage. And I got to figure out a better solution for all this, to be honest. I'm actually going to be building some storage units, inside and outside storage units, so I can really start organizing all these parts, because I got way too many parts in here. This is definitely not going to work. So I'm keeping the rear seats, but I do have a set of these 2.5 RS seats. All this stuff is just all over the place here. This is that black lower dash. The black lower dash, these black dashes are only available in the 2.5 RS, or the RSs. Basically, the other cars, the Outback Sport, Impreza L, and the other Imprezas, they didn't have black dashes. They had gray and black, two-tone. These 2.5 RS seats, I'm gonna have these up for sale right now for about 180 bucks. That's actually the leather wrap steering wheel, the red stitching, and the little shift knob as well. I got the subwoofer up for sale. These are kind of cool, guys. These are subwoofers, or factory subwoofers from Subaru, built in like little amplifiers in them. They have this little bracket right here that bolts underneath the driver's seat, and the hole right here uses the same bolt for the bolt that holds on the seat. So that holds this whole thing underneath the driver's seat. And then the harness is really cool. The harness is kind of like it's called a piggyback style harness. And basically the harness has two plugs in it, and it utilizes a stock factory plug. And all you need to do is actually unplug your factory radio and plug the harness that was plugging into your factory radio into one of these plugs, and then plug this plug into your factory radio. So basically like just taps into the circuit that goes into your factory radio through your factory harness, and then grabs the speaker channels that it needs for the low frequencies, amplifies them, and then integrates them, you know, seamlessly into kind of your audio frequencies that you're hearing in your car. So really cool, these little factory subwoofers. I love them. And I'd put them in any GC for sure, because they're so easy to just swap in with that little pigtail harness. And then we got the A pillars, B pillars, and C pillars. And on these sedans, there's actually a lower section for the B pillar and a lower section for the C pillar, kind of that goes along the side of the seats. And I have all of those for this one as well. These are in really good condition, incidentally. A lot of times these B and C pillars get scratched up real bad, but as you can see, this one's just like mint condition. I don't really have any sedans. I don't plan on having any sedans in the future, so I don't want to hold on to these. But if these were for a coupe, I would probably hold on to these for myself. Of course, those are those gold wheels that are going to go on this green RS. And I got the bunch of the rear trunk. These are kind of the rear trunk surrounds. This is a lower valance for the windshield that I saw about for sale. I've had a lot of people interested in this because I put it up for a pretty cheap price, but the freaking shipping for something this long, it's like 4.5 feet, 5 feet long, is crazy. So I think I posted this up for only 60 or 80 bucks, and a bunch of people wanted it, but the shipping ends up being, you know, doubling the price on it. So I don't know about that. Let me know. These are just those little pieces that go underneath the footwell and the sill plates. This is the obviously the turn signal little cluster thing that goes with the clock spring. Speaking of clock spring, last week was just really a shit show, guys, taking that clock spring out of that Outback Sport, and I apologize for that. I was kind of off my game there, being on live, and didn't really follow the pigtail down where you could just kind of pull it out and have that whole clock spring out as one unit. And I already have this clock spring sold, so I can't show you guys that. Of course, I got the OEM radios. Let me know if you're interested in those. Still got these tan coupe doors. You know, on these tan coupe doors, I think I'm gonna look into picking up some fabric dye. There's a lot of options out there for fabric dye. Fabric dyes work really, really good. Paints work terrible for painting plastic, or, you know, you can't paint fabric, but fabric dyes are different because dye is how the color in that fabric has got there in the first place. And fabric dye basically just, you know, it's like re-dyeing the fabric with a different, darker color dye. It's not really like putting a second layer on top of something that's gonna flake off at a later time. So I'm a big fan of dyeing things rather than painting things. You know, anytime you can dye something and you get a good product and you can kind of take your time and do it right, dyeing things usually turns out really, really good. So I'm thinking of doing a little DIY project video where we take these tan two-door coupes, which nobody really wants, let's just be honest. The tan interior sucks compared to the black or the darker interiors. And I'll pick up some really good high quality dye, and we'll dye the interior fabric panel section. And I think we might be able to dye the vinyl as well. And then we'll move this little kind of floppy little rope, because these little, you know, pockets, these little map pockets or side pockets, they always like wear over time. So we'll replace that with something cooler, dye it all black if possible. And I think these would be pretty good condition, and it would be a pretty sweet little project to see if we can salvage these tan door panels that frankly nobody ever wants. And that's the same for me too. I don't ever want them either. So that's my tentative little project for the tan door panels. Okay, one more thing, guys. For those of you who stuck around for a long time, haven't made a video on this yet. Oh, actually, two more things. This freaking headliner, guys. It's a headliner with a sunroof, obviously, right? RS all had the sunroof. This headliner is mint condition, guys. Look at this condition of this headliner. I'll just do a little slow pan overview of it. Usually headliners get pretty damaged just being in the car or just being removed and out of the car. So take a look at this mint condition headliner. I got this thing up for sale as well. And man, I was looking for a headliner for my RS for a while, and the one I found was nowhere near the condition that this one is. I'm almost tempted to pull the headliner out of my RS and use this one, because this one's just mint condition. But that's just a ton of pain, and that's not really worth it. So have this up for sale, guys. I had it up for sale for I think 180 bucks. Let me know if you're interested in this headliner for 180 bucks. Send me an email or whatever. Okay. Last thing that I'll mention, guys. Super Clean, national chain store degreaser, reached out to my channel and asked me if I would be interested in using their products, giving them an honest review, and potentially being sponsored by Super Clean going forward. And I've been working with them for several weeks, back and forth on communications, and I've used their products in the past too, so I was already familiar with their products. And we said, let's do it, let's go forward. And so Super Clean is coming aboard as a sponsor for the SubaruONLY channel. They have degreasers, they have wheel cleaners, they have a floor absorbent, and a couple different products out there that I'm gonna try. I'm working on some future DIY videos that basically use the Super Clean products, but shout out to Super Clean and the Super Clean family. Really appreciate you guys reaching out to SubaruONLY and reaching out to me and wanting to sponsor the SubaruONLY show. And I think this is gonna be a good thing, because I need a lot of degreaser for all these parts. So thanks a lot, Super Clean. This is gonna be a great, great little sponsorship. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, wrapping it up here. I don't want to get into too many things. As you guys probably know by now, this is a full-time gig for me. I'm doing this all the time, 7 days a week. And every Friday, I'm giving you guys just a little view into what I've been up to for the past week. I'm also making these videos and editing these videos and doing all the post-processing for these videos. And that takes a lot of time too, but I'm planning on continuing to release videos every week as well. So I got a video coming out tomorrow, like I mentioned. It's a little bit of a journey on this 2001 2.5 RS I got. I show it picking it up and getting on the tow rig and bring it out here, and I show you exactly the way it looked like the day I got it. And so you can kind of compare that to the way it looks today. And it's only been like 5 days, guys. It's crazy how quickly this car has been sold, all these parts on it. So appreciate you checking out the channel. Appreciate all the support from all you guys out there. Like I mentioned, my Facebook account was hacked. So if you guys are friends with me on Facebook, reach out and let's reconnect. And if we were having a conversation on Facebook Messenger, please reach out. And we got to redo that conversation because I lost access to seeing those conversations. So thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Check out SubaruONly.com. This is the SubaruONly channel. And I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.